Judith Maria and welcome to SC Global News. From the Holy Father's message to French altar servers, encouraging them to guide the faithful into the sacred mystery of the Mass, to Pope Leo XIV's new announced theme for the upcoming World Day of Peace, we have many stories to cover. During a meeting with altar servers from France, Pope Leo XIV expressed concern over the country's shortage of priests and highlighted the important role of young people in altar ministry. He emphasized that the dignity of their service draws others into the profound sacredness of the ministry.
Pope Leo XIV met with about 360 altar servers from France on Monday, August the 25th. The altar servers had arrived in Rome with their priests and bishops as part of the Jubilee year. The Holy Father told the young Catholics that Holy Mass was the most important event in the life of the Christian and in the life of the Church. He thanked the altar servers for their generous service to their parishes and urged them to always keep in mind the greatness and holiness of what is being celebrated. May your attitude, your silence, the dignity of your service, the liturgical beauty, the order and majesty of your gestures lead the faithful into the sacred greatness of the mystery, the Holy Father exhorted. The Pope also invited the altar servers to consider a vocation to the priesthood or religious life, saying that the lack of priests in France is a great misfortune for the nation and for the Church. He urged them to bear witness to the pride and joy that comes from serving at Mass and to persevere in offering a sign of hope to the world.
Pope Leo XIV marked the 400th anniversary of Father Andreas Rudmina's arrival in India by sending a telegram to the Archdiocese of Goa and Daman. In his message, the Pope praised the Lithuanian Jesuits' missionary zeal, urged continued dialogue across faiths, and extended his apostolic blessing to the faithful gathered at the cathedral in all Goa.
Pope Leo XIV commemorated the 400th anniversary of the arrival of Father Andreas Rudamina, the first Lithuanian Jesuit priest in India, on Monday. The Pope sent a telegram to the Archdiocese of Goa and Daman, Vatican News reported. The message, signed by Cardinal Secretary of State Pietro Parolin, conveyed papal greetings to the faithful gathered at Say Cathedral in Old Goa. According to the telegram, the Pope shared in their thanksgiving for Rudamina's missionary witness, noting that his Catholic faith remains visible in present-day Lithuania. In the message, the Pope prayed that the celebration of Rudamina's courage in bringing the gospel to distant lands would inspire today's faithful to respond with patience and creativity to the mission of evangelization. He expressed confidence that the Archdiocese would continue fostering ecumenical and interreligious dialogue as a model of harmony and reconciliation. The message concluded with the Pope's apostolic blessing offered as a pledge of joy and peace in Christ. Historical records noted that in 1625, Father Rudamina traveled 6,000 miles with Portuguese converts to India. After a year, he contracted malaria and later moved to China, where he died in 1631. A memorial stone was dedicated to him in Lithuania in 2015.
The sole survivor of the deadly beef Wellington lunch, Ian Wilkinson, extended a gesture of forgiveness toward Erin Patterson as he came face to face with the convicted triple murderer. He offered this act of grace during a deeply emotional victim impact statement delivered to a full courtroom at Patterson's pre-sentencing hearing. He encouraged Erin to receive his offer of forgiveness for those harms done to him. A church pastor and the sole survivor of the fatal mushroom-laced meal in Victoria has extended his prayers and forgiveness to Erin Patterson, who is awaiting sentencing for the 2023 murders of 3 family members. Despite pleading not guilty, Patterson was convicted by a jury of murdering Dawn and Gail Patterson along with Heather Wilkinson and attempting to murder Reverend Ian Wilkinson, the 50-year-old who prepared a beef Wellington containing containing deadly death cap mushrooms appeared in court for the first time since being found guilty by a jury of poisoning 4 family members at her home. Addressing the court, Reverend Wilkinson said that he offered Erin his forgiveness for the harm she has caused him. He added that he holds no resentment toward her. Wilkinson further said that his hope is that she uses her time in prison to grow and become a better person. He no longer sees himself as a victim. She is now the recipient of his compassion. The court was told that Erin Patterson is currently being held in protective custody at Dame Phyllis Frost Center, where she has access to personal belongings such as books, a computer, and crochet supplies. Crown prosecutors labeled her actions as among the most serious possible, describing them as worst category offending. They are seeking a life sentence without a possibility of parole, emphasizing the slow and painful deaths suffered by the victims. Erin Patterson's lawyer conceded that a life sentence is unavoidable, but urged the judge to allow for the possibility of a parole at a much later date. Justice Christopher Bailey is scheduled to deliver the final sentence on September 8, according to the BBC. Reverend Ian Wilkinson continues to suffer from ongoing health issues as a result of the poisoning. Meanwhile, Erin's estranged husband, Simon Patterson, spoke of the deep impact on their children. He said, quote, "Nearly everyone knows their mother was responsible for their grandparents' death. My children now have to live with the harsh truth of a shattered family," end quote. As Israel is slowly strengthening its hold around Gaza, the Israeli Air Forces unleashes fury as it launches airstrikes damaging Hamas-run buildings, including a dispensary. An Al Jazeera journalist who is known for recording Hamas's propaganda videos was killed in the Israeli airstrikes. As Israel slowly strengthens its hold around Gaza, tank shelling carried out by an Israeli military on a Hamas-run hospital killed 20 people, including 5 journalists. The shelling, which destroyed Nasser Hospital in Khan Yunis, was confirmed by the Israel Defense Forces 3 hours after reports of the attack emerged. IDF Chief of Staff Lieutenant Governor Yal Zamir ordered an immediate inquiry into the strike, as it was found that the operation had not been approved by top officials. One of the casualties in the attack, Muhammad Salama, a freelance journalist employed by Al Jazeera, was known for producing Hamas's propaganda videos. He recorded Hamas's mock Bibas ceremony and a gruesome video depicting the malnourished condition of 2 Israeli hostages who remain in captivity. Australia has expelled 4 Iranian diplomats and stopped the operations of Australian embassy in Tehran in the wake of an intelligence report finding Iran's hand in 2 anti-Semitic incidents that happened in 2023. Australian Prime Minister Anthony Albanese's decision comes after relentless pressure from Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu after he criticized Australia's failure to curb these attacks. On Tuesday, Australia announced that it would expel 4 Iranian diplomats and suspend operations of the Australian embassy in Tehran, citing Iran's responsibility for anti-Semitic attacks on Jewish communities in Melbourne and Sydney in 2024. Australian Prime Minister Anthony Albanese received a credible report from the Australian Security Intelligence Organisation, which linked Tehran to the series of anti-Semitic attacks that occurred last year. The intelligence agency also assessed that Iranian espionage operatives were behind the stealth attacks in several anti-Semitic incidents in 2023, most notably the attack on Adas Israel Synagogue in Melbourne. Albanese further announced that Canberra had withdrawn its diplomats from Tehran and listed the Islamic Revolutionary Guard as a terrorist organization. This action comes at a time when Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu sent a scathing letter to Albanese accusing him of enabling a growing wave of anti-Semitism and issuing a deadline for next month's Rosh Hashanah, the Jewish New Year holiday, to act against the phenomenon. The Daily Declaration reports that a new 2D animated feature, Light of the World, will open in cinemas across Australia from September 4, 2025. The hand-drawn film recounts the life of Jesus through the eyes of his youngest disciple, John. Creators say the project aims to connect young audiences with gospel through a timeless artistic medium.
Light of the World, A feature-length 2D animated movie is set to premiere in Australian cinemas on September 4th, 2025. The Daily Declaration reported the movie depicts the ministry, crucifixion, and resurrection of Jesus Christ as witnessed by his youngest disciple John. The production, produced by the Salvation Poem Project, was created with a budget of $20 million US. Tony Bancroft, credited for Mulan and Space Jam: A New Legacy, served as animation director. The creators stated that hand-drawn animation was selected for its timeless quality. According to the report, producers said the medium retains its beauty over decades and conveys human touches which they considered suitable for portraying the story of Jesus. Macpherson, president of the Salvation Poem Project, said the animation's primary purpose was to share Jesus through song and story in a form that resonates with younger generations. The studio, best known for the Salvation Poem, a short poem prayer, later set to music and translated into 91 languages, also announced further initiatives. These include a hand-drawn video game based on the Gospel of John, planned for 2027, and a multilingual discipleship course.
Bishop Andrew H. Cousins of Crookston, Minnesota, announced on August 28 that the beatification course for Sister Anella Servas, a Benedictine nun from Minnesota, will officially begin this fall. The diocesan phase of the course will be launched with a Mass on October 9th at the Cathedral of the Immaculate Conception in Crookston.
The Catholic Church in the United States is set to officially open the course for canonization of Sister Anella Servas, OSB, on October the 9th in Crookston, Minnesota. Bishop Andrew H. Cousins of Crookston made the announcement on August the 20th. The Holy Mass opening the courses of diocesan phase will be held on October the 9th at the Cathedral of the Immaculate Conception in Crookston. The U.S. bishops had approved the cause of the Benedictine nun last November and received a declaration of nihil obstat from the Dicastery for the Causes of Saints. The local diocese will now formally bestow on Sister Anella the title of Servant of God and continue the investigation to determine if she lived a life of heroic virtue. Sister Anella was born in Morad, Minnesota, on April the 7th, 1900. At only 15 years of age, she joined St. Benedict's Monastery in St. Joseph, Minnesota, and professed her final vows in 1922. A year later, Sister Anella was struck by a rare skin disease that caused her intense pain and suffering. However, she remained cheerful and prayed amid fits of pain for strength to endure and for God's will to be done. Sister Anella died on August 14, 1926, at the age of 26. Shortly after her death, testimonies of cures and miracles attributed to her intercession began to be reported.
On Tuesday, August 26, the Dicastery for Promoting Integral Human Development released a statement offering deep insight into Pope Leo XIV's selected theme for the 2026 World Day of Peace. Peace be with you all, toward an unarmed and disarming peace. Meanwhile, the Vatican Publishing House is preparing to launch a new book titled And Let There Be Peace, featuring the Pope's early public addresses.
Pope Leo XIV has announced the theme for 2026 World Day of Peace. Peace be with you all, towards an unarmed and disarming peace. The message was shared by the Dicastery for Promoting Integral Human Development on Tuesday, August 26th, as the Vatican Publishing House prepares to release a new book reflecting the Pope's vision for peace. The World Day of Peace, observed each year on January 1st, on the day of the Solemnity of Mary, Mother of God, is dedicated to promoting universal peace. This year's theme calls for a global rejection of violence and war and encourages a commitment to to a peace rooted in love and justice. In a statement, the dicastery explained that the Pope's concept of peace is both unarmed, free from threats, weapons, and fear, and disarming, meaning it aims to heal divisions, foster empathy, and build mutual trust and hope. Peace must not be a mere slogan, the statement read. It must be a way of life that actively rejects all forms of violence, whether visible or systemic. The press release also emphasized the inclusive nature of the call to peace, citing the words of risen Christ, "Peace be with you." The message invites people of all faiths as well as political and social leaders to work together toward building a more just and humane world. Pope Leo XIV, who was elected on May 8, 2025, has consistently championed peace, frequently using the phrase unarmed and disarming to describe the kind of peace he envisions for the world. In a related release, the Vatican Publishing House announced the publication of a new book titled "And Let There Be Peace: Words to the Church and the World," which compiles the Pope's early public addresses, all marked by a strong emphasis on peace. The book will be available in English, Italian, and Spanish starting August 27th. In a summary of the book's contents, the communique highlighted several key priorities expressed by Pope Leo XIV, including the primacy of God, the unity of Church, and the pursuit of peace. It noted that the Pope's frequent call for reconciliation are aimed not only at political spheres but also at a personal level. Quoting Pope Leo XIV, the statement emphasized, "Peace begins with each one of us in how we see others, how we listen to them, and how we speak about them."
That's all for today. Until we meet again, God bless and thank you.